Cool. So what I was thinking would be fun to do today is you haven't built a Gatsby site before, right?
No.
Okay. And then have you done a lot of React work?
Uh, no. I've only been doing it for like a few weeks, so I'm trying to get into a little more fluency with that.
Perfect. So this is going to be great then. So what we think we should do today that's going to be a lot of fun is let's go through installing Gatsby, getting a site running locally, and then we'll just start doing some things like linking between pages and stuff like that. So have you installed the Gatsby CLI?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So in whatever folder you want to create the project, you can run Gatsby new and then choose a name for the site.
Let's see. Let's see. What kind of site should we do? We'll do a store.
And so what it's doing is it's using our default starter, and it clones down the repo and then installs all the dependencies for you so that you don't have to worry about doing that.
Nice, nice. Oh, there we go, little truck. Awesome. I like the emojis. It's very nice touch.
I think that's Yarn that does that.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's so cute.
My coworker Amberly Romo just did a podcast this morning about she worked on the emoji spec and got an actual like yarn ball emoji and a couple others introduced into the specs.
Oh my This is adorable. Okay. You want
Awesome.
me to go to that folder?
Yeah, so go into that folder. And now what you can do is you can just do, you can open it in VS Code.
Mm.
And then we're also going to run Gatsby develop in that folder.
Okay. Hold on, let me. Okay, let's see. And it should open up a local host on it, like automatically, or we will have to go there.
It should. It won't open it automatically, no.
Okay, localhost 8000. Okay. All right.
All right.
There we
So now you've got a site. So if we go back into VS Code,
go. Mm-hmm.
we can take a look at the folder directory. And so the structure here is you've got a Gatsby config.js, and that's kind of the where you set things up. So we can, if you want to pop these open as we go through, we can take a look. So the site metadata up top is where you would put things like that's the site title. You could also add, if you wanted to, your menu links or your other things like that. So you kind of put whatever you want in there. And then plugins is where you'll add additional things. So by default, the starter gives us React Helmet, which lets us control like the HTML meta tags. So your like your Twitter share tags, your title tags, stuff like that.
Okay.
And then it adds a manifest and the offline plugin, which are for offline support. That gives you the progressive web app 100% score in Lighthouse.
Okay.
Then in the source folder, we have pages. And if you go to that index, that's your home page. So let's just go ahead and like edit this a little bit and change it.
Okay. Oops. There we go. Wow, that was fast.
Yeah, so it updates almost live, which is wonderful. And so now we can look at a couple things that are going on here. So the first thing that we've got is up at the top of that index file, we're importing link from Gatsby. And so that kind of takes the place of an anchor link when you're linking locally. And the reason that we do that is that it allows us to kind of keep track of the feed and make sure that we've got like when you're linking between pages, we can preload the code that's going to be shown. We can make sure that it doesn't reload the browser so it feels instant. And so if we test that, if you go into and just click that go to page 2 link, actually in the browser, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
So it just like, it's an instant load, right? And so we kind of set it up that way too. That's what the link is for. But if you're linking externally, you would still use an anchor link.
I see. Okay, good to know.
So the next thing we could do is let's maybe play with the metadata a bit. So if you want to go into Gatsby config, and you can just edit the title to be whatever you want.
We'll do a plant store. I see.
Yeah, and so that updated live for us. And then let's add something else. Like let's maybe add just some random value in there.
So what should I put under as like the
anything you want?
Anything?
As long as it's valid JavaScript, it fits.
Okay, so I could do like a string.
Yep.
Like, I don't know, what should I write?
Well, it doesn't need to be, so it needs a key, like some kind of an object key.
Okay, but it can be like anything.
Yep.
Can you do another title, and will it be formatted the same way as like?
Well, the keys have to be unique, but you could put like, like, so this could be the
like title 2.
Yeah, right. And then you can just put.
Creative.
No, that's okay.
We have plants.
Yeah, and actually, maybe that one's the description.
Oh, so I would just like description.
Yeah.
Are these like set?
No, it's totally freeform.
Oh, okay.
But so now, if you save that, we can go in and we can start looking at how GraphQL works. So have you really played with GraphQL at all?
0.
Okay, awesome. So this is going to be fun. So go ahead and in another tab, open up localhost 8000, and then /_, is it 2 or 3 underscores? GraphQL. It might be 2, 3 underscores. It's 3 underscores.
One more.
There it is. Okay, so now we can write our first GraphQL query. So everything on the left you can highlight and delete.
Okay. Want me to start off fresh, or do we need this?
Nope, you can just delete that.
Okay.
And then on the right, you can click that docs flyout. And we're going to write a query. So you can click the yellow query. That's yeah. And so this shows us everything that we can do. And what I want to look at is the site there. So to write a GraphQL query, all you have to do, site is all the way at the bottom.
Oh, here.
Yep.
Okay.
And so what I'd like to do is go ahead and on the left, open up curly braces. And then in the middle of those curly braces, we're going to put site. And then to the right of that, you're going to open up more curly braces. But inside the first set.
Curly brace inception.
And then let's do site metadata. So on the right, very bottom, you can see the yellow site that's like the return value of the site call. If you click on that, it'll show you more docs. And so these are the fields that we can query. And the way that those queries work is go ahead and just click that site metadata, and it'll kind of or the one that's on the hover down by your typing. So it'll auto complete for you, and then hit prettify. So this is kind of the standard way of writing a GraphQL query because it's a little easier to read. So if we click on the yellow site metadata 2 in the docs, then we can see what fields are available under here. And right now we've got a title. So go ahead and let's open up the curly braces to the right of the site metadata.
Over here? Open up more?
Yeah, and then you can put the title down there.
Title.
And if you hit that play button at the top, that shows your data, right? So one of the ways that I like to look at GraphQL is thinking about it like writing a JavaScript object, but without putting values in it. And then GraphQL will go and get the values and put them into the object.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah. So it's kind of a nice way of getting at that data so that you can kind of play with it and see how it works. And so one thing that I want to see here is I want to see that description in. So let's go to your terminal and hit Control C to stop it. And then if you hit up, it'll use the last command. You can just start it again. And the reason that we're doing that is because we changed the shape of the config. Like that's all brand new.
I see. So that's not something that will re-render if it's developed already.
Yeah, exactly. So now if you go back in here and reload this.
Can I just refresh, or is it going to ruin everything?
Yep, it'll refresh. Now, if you on the right-hand side, or actually if you, I think command click on site metadata in your query, yeah, it jumps you right to those docs. So then you can click in and now the description's there. So you can add the description below the title.
Do I need to put like a comma or something? I'm
Nope.
not really sure. Okay. Description. Okay. And then go.
Yep.
Oh,
And there you go. So now we can show this somewhere. So let's play with this a little bit. Let's go to the index page, the index.js in VS Code. And underneath the export default, let's add a new export. So yeah, all the way at the bottom, we can do export const query. And that's going to equal GraphQL.
Does caps matter?
Nope, all lowercase.
Okay.
And do you see how that just auto imported up on line 2 from Gatsby?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's a really fun feature of VS Code. But so what we're about to do is what's called a tagged template literal. And effectively what we're saying is the text that we're about to create is tagged by this GraphQL helper. So the backticks, which are to the left of the number 1, so open those, just right there. Yep, one more. And then in between, if you just want to hit enter.
Over here?
Yep. We can now add our query in between those backticks. So exactly what you just did in Graphical, you can copy it out. So out of the browser.
This side?
Yep, just copy paste it.
And put it in here?
Mm-hmm. And then if you, now you can go up to the line 6, the index page. So what happens when you export this query is that we're going to run that and then give it back to your React component as a prop. And it's going to come in as a data prop. So every React component just gets one argument called props. So we can either get props and then do props.data, or we can destructure. Have you done destructuring before?
Is that this thing?
Yes.
And then put it inside?
Yep.
Yeah.
So then you can get data out.
So can I do that?
Mm-hmm. And so let's just show the description in our paragraphs here. So maybe like under the heading, we can say like another paragraph tag, and then put in your data. Yep, that's
Data. Do I do props inside of the brackets, or do I do it?
no. That's perfect. It's inside, and so then you just follow this object down. So data is the whole query, and then it's gonna have. You'll just kind of go into these props and let's get the description out.
Oh, I see. So do I have to go down to like site metadata, like this?
Yep.
Oh, site metadata, and then description.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And now if we go back to the home page, there it is.
Ah, there it is. Oh, that is rad.
And so what's really cool about this is that you like when you pull in data from other places, we put it into the GraphQL stuff as well. So you're able to kind of pull that data out and use it however you want. So let's see, what do you want to do next? You want to put some images in? Do you want to?
Yeah, let's play around with some images, and I would love to like do some like styling and like response, like making things responsive and stuff like that, because
Oh yeah.
I was trying to play around with that earlier, and everything when I like shrank it, it was getting all weird, and I was like, what did I do? So I would like to learn more about that. And
Okay, yeah. No, let's do that. What's your preferred CSS language?
just regular good old, I like to have my separate pages, or I don't really like because like I know people in React, they like to like use little curly braces, and they do like style equals whatever inside of their
Mm-hmm.
components, but that kind of makes me confused, so I usually just have like a separate CSS.
Yeah, that's totally fine.
I don't know if that's right, but
I mean, there's really no wrong or right. There's just manageable.
okay.
So it kind of depends on like what your team is, what your, how many people need to manage the CSS, things like that. And you can make smaller files and include those in, and it actually works pretty well. So probably the way that we would want to do this is using CSS modules, I would guess. So let's add. How do we want to do that? Let's add a file, or let's add a component.
Okay.
So up in the components, let's add one called I don't know, like post, and we'll use that to kind of separate the post stuff from the.
Oh, so like a folder.
It can just be a file actually,
Okay.
or
Okay.
that's a good point. So there are a couple ways that you could do this. Like you can create like a component that is the React component, and then also CSS next to it, and any, if you needed like icons or whatever, you could put those all in the same folder and kind of make each component self-contained. You could do it where the CSS kind of lives alongside it, like it's done here with the layout.
Yeah.
There's not really a right or wrong answer there. That again, it just kind of comes down to being consistent and making sure that whoever's going to work on it knows how it is going to be done.
Got it. I don't know. Let's see. Well, I'll just make a file for now. And would it be post.js?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. Okay. And I had a question about layout. So what is this whole thing? Like, is it, because I know that it's also in the index.js, right? So
Right.
you wrap everything in layout, and layout is like a already made thing that, is it to help with like, I don't know, what is it made to do?
Yeah. So the cool thing about React is that you have the ability to do component-based architecture, which means that your components are reusable and composable. So what a layout is a way for you to create kind of like a site wrapper. So what we're doing in this one is we're using Helmet starting on line 22 to set the page title and some descriptions and things that you would need for SEO. And then on 31, we set the header, which the header is was shown in purple up at the top. It's like the purple bar and the title text and all that kind of wrapped up into a single component. And then we wrap the children, which is the actual content of the pages. So if you look at index.js,
Where is it? Up here.
so everything on lines 8 through 12 gets passed into the layout. And so React has a special handler for that called children. So anything that goes into layout, we can then display anywhere we want inside layout using children. So if we head back over to layout, then we can see that what we're doing is we want to center a div that's got a max width set so that the content doesn't, overflow or whatever. And then we just put all the contents of the layout inside that div. So basically what this allows us to do is design our website once. Like the header, the footer, the sidebar, all that stuff can be done in one place and then reused in all of the pages throughout the site.
I see. So what would be in header.js then if the header is I see. I see.
So actually, you know what? Let's do this. Let's add a footer and then we can we can add the footer to the layout. So let's rename that post.js to footer.
Okay.
And then in that, we're just going to create a kind of a standard React component. So let's do import React and then we can export default. And for now, we won't take any arguments, so we can just do a stateless function.
Okay, so const something footer?
Yeah, just whatever you want to name your component.
I can't remember functional or stateless, or which one is this one?
Yep, that's a stateless functional component is, I think, what the official name for that.
Like this? Oh, no.
Yeah, so you can either do, like in our case, we're not going to do any logic, so we can just use parentheses. And then inside that, we can, let's use a semantic footer tag.
Okay. Like this?
Yep, but with angle brackets, so it's like a, so we're just going to write like HTML.
Okay, my favorite.
But it won't be capitalized because... Yeah, this is just like the regular HTML element. And then we can, we can put put a dev credit in there, like,
What should we put in? A dev credit? I don't even know.
Like, built by Katie kind of thing.
Oh! I'll do it in like a H. Built by... First Gatsby site. Yay!
And then that's perfect. So then at the bottom, you can export default footer. And we can now, if we go over to the layout, we can import the footer. And put it down below that div that's got the children.
Around here?
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I think because it doesn't have any content, we can just make it self-closing. Yep. And then if you save that, you should see, what doesn't it like?
Oh, it doesn't like my semi. I put a comma.
Oh.
Oops. All right. There we go. Hey!
So there you go. So now we can style that. So let's add a footer.css.
Do I need to make a folder for the footer CSS stuff, or just put it in components?
Like I said, it's kind of up to you. And then we're going to use CSS modules. So let's actually do footer.module.css.
Okay.
And I haven't done this in a while, so we may find things that I've forgotten.
No, it's all good.
So what we can do here is we can now just kind of define our classes. So in this case, we've got like two elements, right? There's the footer element, and then there's the actual text. So you can do like a dot footer, and then, I guess we can make it like a max width of 960 to match the to match the content, and then like a margin left and right of auto, so you can set a top margin of whatever seems good to you.
We'll do, let's see, top margin. We'll just do like 10 or something, just to see what happens. And then auto. And then, oh, I have to connect them. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Import.
And so the way that you would typically do this with CSS modules, and this is a little different from regular CSS, is you're going to import it as styles. So import styles from.
Like this?
Mm-hmm. And then, yeah, the dot.
Slash footer dot module. Do I have to type all of it out?
Mm-hmm.
CS.
Okay. And now for the footer, add a class name.
Over here?
Mm-hmm. And the value of that is going to be styles.footer. And you'll want to surround it in curly braces instead of quotes.
Okay.
Because so what ends up happening, and we'll look at this in the inspector in a second, but if you go back into that module.css, in that file, we've got a dot footer. And so what CSS Modules does is it imports that file and then turns it into a JavaScript object where all of the class names match. So then you can use it as styles. And what we do under the hood is we make sure that things don't collide. So if you've got like a title here, and then later you have a blog post, and that blog post also has a title, the title class won't collide. So if we save this, we can. Oh, so you already did it, and you can see here. So head over to your browser.
Yeah, hold on. Let me make this another like so you can kind of see it move. There we go.
Yeah. So head over to your browser and let's open the developer tools. And if you select that footer element, we can see that. Do you see how it got like a special name of like footer module -- footer with a custom hash?
Oh, so it made it like super special then.
Yeah, so it makes it unique so that you don't have to worry about name collisions.
Oh, that's so great because like sometimes it's just like title 2, title 3.
Exactly, right? So this allows you to write really, really simple descriptive class names without having to worry about them being with colliding with other classes later on.
That's nice.
But yeah, so that is kind of the guts of it. And then if you wanted to get into like responsive stuff, then you would just be able to do kind of the same. Let's see, how does responsive work with CSS modules now? I think you just, where is it? I think you would just include it kind of, I don't know if it's inline or not. You know what, let's just try it. So let's go after line 3, just add do you remember the syntax for a media query?
No.
Okay, so it's at media, and then in parentheses, min width, min dath width, yeah, colon, let's do 600. And then outside of that, we're going to open some curly braces, and inside, let's do like color red. That'll be an easy way to tell if it's actually working. So if you save that.
Oh, why is it mad? Is it okay?
I don't think so. So I think we might. So let's move that outside of the footer. And let's put it, down below. And then now we need to add the dot footer selector inside the media query.
Okay. So like over here.
It'll be inside the curly braces. So basically inside the media query, we just write regular CSS.
And then make another.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
And okay, so there it goes. So now if we resize that window, When you go down below 600 pixels, it should go black. Yeah. So
Ooh.
the CSS modules are smart enough to kind of combine those pieces together so that they don't get lost.
Mm-hmm.
And that way you should be able to kind of build whatever you want. Yeah. Do you want to do anything in particular with the CSS, or do you want to try something else?
I think I can figure it out from there. When I was looking at the blog post thing, the blog post blog earlier, they were talking about like using media as like something you install and then you call it like in brackets like capital media, and then you set the widths and stuff inside of like your other folder, and I was that kind of like really confused. They did it in their layout folder, and then they were like setting all of their styling in there, and I was kind of confused.
Yeah, so there are lots of different ways to do it. It sounds like I'm not sure which post you were looking at, but that may have been done with something like styled components or, one of the CSS and JS solutions. And there are trade-offs here, because if you do it with something like styled components or CSS and JS, the benefit is you have like one config file where you say my breakpoints are like 450 pixels and 750 pixels and like 1200 pixels, and that's where things break. And then my site colors are this. Then, so the upside to that is it's defined in one place and it's very reusable. The downside is you then have to like import that config file everywhere and reference it. So it gets a little more complicated to track what's happening in the CSS. And typically speaking, like you wouldn't be able to use a JavaScript config file here. You would need to define like variables, and then you'd have to import those variable files into each CSS file, and it just, it can get a little out of control. So this way, what you're doing, it's very declarative. We know exactly where it is. The catch is that after you've written 50 components, if all 50 components have a min width 600 pixel breakpoint and you decide that needs to change, you will have to edit all 50 files.
That's true.
So that's kind of the trade, right?
I see. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. And I was wondering, I was just curious. Like, I don't know if this is outside of the scope of like what we're doing today, but I was curious about using Gatsby and Netlify. How you say it? I was kind of like wondering about like their relationship and how how they work together. And
Yeah.
put projects out.
So Gatsby will generate static assets, and Netlify is an excellent free way to host static assets. So if you want, we can deploy this to Netlify. Do you want to do that?
Yeah, let's do that.
Awesome.
That way, like I can go back and like fix this up and already know how to deploy something. So that.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So do you have a Netlify account already?
I do not. Should I like do that off camera, like to make it on like my other screen?
Yeah, because otherwise your email and stuff is going to get streamed. But
I know. I don't know about that. Let me see. Oh, we can do with GitHub. Well, that's fancy.
yeah, and it's actually good to do it with GitHub, because what we're going to do is we're going to create a repo and push this up to it, and then Netlify will auto deploy whenever you update the repo.
Okay, cool. So I have it ready to go.
Okay.
It says new site from Git. Should I click that?
Yeah, actually, at this point, I think you can just pull it back over.
Oh yeah.
And so let's go into your command line, and we need to commit this, right? So
Should we just like this and initialize it?
yeah, and then you'll need to create a Git repo on your GitHub account.
Let's see. Yay. All right, let me go to my GitHub. Oh, I changed this to my Twitter. There we go. Okay, cool. Okay. New repo. Mm,
Okay, and so you can just create that.
all right.
Cool. So then,
Just push it.
well, you have to set up your repo, your origin there. So yeah.
Okay.
Cool. So as soon as that shows up, we can go back to, we can go back to Netlify and new site from Git.
GitHub.
Mm-hmm. And it's going to ask you for access to do stuff, which is all okay.
Oh, this one. Okie dokie. No one looked. I was like, oh no. Okay, here we go.
Okay, so if you click into that repo then.
Here?
Yep. And it knows it's a Gatsby site, so it's going to automatically populate the Gatsby build and where the publish is going to go. So now you can hit deploy. And it's building. So if you hover over that production deploy,
Here?
yep, you can just click on that, and it's going to show you the process. So actually click on where it says in queued, just click on that. And once it starts, this will show us the Gatsby build progress.
Oh, okay. So how would you, from here, because I was like having a heck of a time trying to connect my domain with a site that was on Heroku, and like I was like having like a time. I don't know if it's because of like where I bought my domain or what, or like why it was so hard. So if I wanted to connect this Netlify site with a domain, how would I go about doing that? Is it
Yeah, let's actually, while we're waiting for this to build, let's go take a look at it. So if you go up to, I think you can just click on the name of the site there.
no, this optimistic Newman?
Yeah, they come up with pretty hilarious fake names. So there's a domain settings tab, and then this, if you hit that add custom domain, and you probably won't actually want to do it here, but you can just click that. It's gonna tell you what to do. If you click through to the docs, it'll show you kind of what you're expected to do. Basically, they're gonna ask you to update your name servers, I think. And so
I see. So it's pretty, yeah, it looks pretty straightforward.
yeah, they kind of make that as simple as possible. And I've done it for a couple sites, and I remember it not taking very long, which was pretty pleasant.
I know. The past one kind of like I kind of messed up. I don't know what I did.
But yeah, so if we head back here, then boy, it's taking its time over there. This is actually pretty atypical. My experience with Netlify is that they usually start building like almost instantly. So they must be busy right now.
Oh, lots of people deploying.
I guess it is like 4 o'clock on a Friday, so everybody's like, I gotta get this out before the weekend.
Yeah, it's true. So what are some as far as like people using Gatsby, what are like what am I trying to say? Like what is the most common like so I know blogs are really popular and doing stuff like that. So how would you go about like if you wanted to seed information into Gatsby, like if you write your blog post in like an MD file or something and then put it into your page so that it will show up? Like, is there a way to do that pretty easily?
Yeah, definitely. So the way that we will do that is we need to install our first plugin. So if you go back to your command line, we're going to do yarn add Gatsby source file system.
With a dash?
Yeah, Gatsby hyphen Oh, I'm sorry. It's Gatsby hyphen source, SO, like fully spelled out,
Okay.
hyphen file system, and there's no hyphen in file system.
I like totally got everything
No,
wrong.
that's my fault. I forget that these are like not phonetic at all. Then we're going to add another one called Gatsby Transformer Remark. So yarn add Gatsby hyphen transformer hyphen remark. And that's the one that actually transforms Markdown into HTML for us.
Ooh.
So that's all we need to actually make it work. So if we take a look at our config, which you've got it open already. So underneath the plugin offline or wherever, we're going to add some curly braces. And this is an option. So every config option, there's a shorthand, which is what Gatsby plugin offline is using. If you need to provide options, then you're going to have a resolve property. So we need that.
Okay. So resolve.
And the value of that one is going to be Gatsby source file system in quotes.
Gatsby. It was Gatsby hyphen source
Mm-hmm.
hyphen file system no hyphen.
Right. And then the next property that we're going to add is options. And that one is an object. So curly braces there. And we're going to give it a key of name. And the value for that one is going to be, let's call it blog. And then the next, and that's going to be quoted, blog is. And then the next key is going to be path, and that's in the same object.
With a comma?
Uh-huh. And this one you're going to want to use backticks because we're going to do kind of like variable insertion. Do the $ curly brace thing to get a variable in, and then we're going to use the node shorthand for current directory, which is __ dir name, all lowercase. It's got you, that one. And then after that, // source.
After the
Mm-hmm. So what dir name is it kind of expands to wherever you are. So whatever folder Gatsby config is in, dir name references that. And then after source, we need to pick a folder that we're going to put this stuff in. So we can put it in blog, we can put it in posts, we can put it in whatever you want. Okay, and then add a trailing slash. And you're done there. And then below that, we're going to add the other transformer, the Gatsby transformer remark. And so on line 24, add a comma, and then on the next line, or sorry, outside the curly brace, we're finished with that particular plugin definition. So now we're going to add the next one. And transformer remark doesn't need any option, so we can just put it in quotes, Gatsby transformer remark. Okay, and let's add a blog post. So in source, we need to create a posts folder.
Is this MD?
Well, yeah. So any file that you want to create is going to be .md.
Okay. Oops.
And have you done front matter in Markdown before?
Which no.
Okay, so it's going to be 3 hyphens, and then under that do title : and you probably want title to be lowercase.
Okay.
So this is a format called YAML, which is one of those ridiculous. It stands for yet another Markdown language, I believe, or yet another markup language. But it's so you'll do kind of like key and then value, and you don't have to quote things in this. So you can actually just put like my first post or something. And then underneath that, triple hyphens. And that's how you define like the metadata for your post. So you would put like the date in here, the slug, the categories, stuff that isn't actually part of the content, but that is relevant to the post. And then outside of it, we can just write some content in Markdown. So yeah, maybe just add something that'll get converted to HTML. So like some, yeah, bulleted list or some bold or whatever.
Why is it not? Oh, I don't have to do it. I only have to do it on the left side, right?
For a bulleted list, yeah.
It's been so long. I don't remember how to do any of this. Let's try. Can we do with 2?
Well, so if you indent, it'll make it like a second level list, or you can do like surround a word with double asterisks and it'll bold. Okay, that's a very good post. All right, so if you save that and then restart your Gatsby develop. Assuming I didn't lead you astray, if we go into graphical, we should be able to see if you reload that. Oh, it hasn't started yet. Maybe check your CLI. Oh, it's still just booting up. There it is. Okay, so refresh that again and then go into the query. And now we should see extra stuff, right? So we've got files and all those good things. So let's do a query for a file. So we can get rid of the query that's in there now. And we'll go for file and
these over here.
Mm-hmm. And now this is kind of going to be this is new. We're getting into new GraphQL territory. We're going to filter our results. So add some parentheses after this. Mm-hmm. And we want to do a what do we want? Let me double check this so that I don't lead you astray. We're going to use let's see. Oh, Google Foo, don't fail me now. We're going to do file, and the file that we want to get is by relative path. So we'll do relative path in there.
Like that?
Yep, and then a colon. And if we click on relative path on the right-hand side, yeah, that one, then we can see what the arguments are. So inside, to the right of relative path, we're going to pass an object.
Okay.
And we're going to use the EQ. And that value is going to be, so a colon, and then a string. And it's always double quotes in GraphQL. And we want that to be source / posts / post1.md. And so we're basically just selecting the post we want to see. And then on the right-hand side of those parentheses, outside of them, we're going to open up our curly braces.
Over here?
On the right-hand side.
On the right, sorry.
Yeah, no worries. And okay, so now we're querying, and we can query for, let's actually just control-click on file. Or sorry, command-click on file in the query itself.
Oh, in the query
itself. Yeah, that's like the shortcut to look at its stuff.
Okay,
And the type up at the very top is file, so if we click on that, it'll show us what we can look at. And so there are a couple things that we can do. First, we can just look at, say, the absolute path. So let's just get the absolute path.
Where is that?
It's about it's right at the top now. So go down up a little bit. There it is.
Oh,
So yeah, that's just going to be the key that you query for. And then if you run that, we'll see. Yep. Oh, we didn't get it. So what is missing? We've got
source posts post1.md.
Okay, so let's do this. Comment out that line with a hashtag, just the file.
Oh, this one?
Yeah. So what I'm gonna do is we're just gonna query all file to figure out what's in there, because I don't know why it's like, I don't know what it's seeing as its path. So let's just comment out the whole query, leaving the first and last lines. And we're going to just put next to that one. If you hit command / yeah. Then underneath that, let's do all file. And we can run that query as, let's see here. Let's run it as, underneath it, just open up your curly braces. And then do edges.
Oops, I was trying to see edges.
And then more curly braces.
So many curly braces.
And node.
Node.
And more curly braces.
Wow. And
let's get the relative path. And so what we just did is a little bit of graph theory. So when you are looking at like data in a graph, they refer to a specific entity as a node. So like the page or the file that we're looking at is considered a node. And then the connections between those nodes are considered edges. So that's just the terminology, the kind of vocabulary that's getting us here. So go ahead and run that. And it thinks that the relative path is post1.md. Oh, I know why. Okay, this is my fault. So if we go back and look at the config again, we told it that the files are in source/posts, right? So it's only looking in that folder. So the relative path is relative to that folder. So that's my fault. So let's go back up to this first query. We can delete the all file. And we can uncomment this one. And now we can just query for post 1 as opposed to the source posts.
I still need
yeah. Yep. And so go ahead and query that. Excellent. So we're getting the file. So now what we're going to do is we want to get the actual markdown out. And the way that we do that is if you click on, are we still in file? Let's scroll up a little bit, and there should be a field called child markdown remark. Sorry, in the docs there.
Oh, here we go. Right.
So go ahead and click on that one. Yep, there. And let's dig into it. So replace absolute path with child markdown remark. And open up some curly braces. And inside, let's get the HTML.
I can just write HTML and it'll. Wow.
Go ahead and run that. So there's the HTML to actually display your post. But then if we want to get the like the title and stuff that we set, we got to get into the front matter. So after the HTML, go ahead and get at your front matter. And inside, you can open some curly braces. And if you want to, you can just click on that front matter too, and it'll show you what your fields are. So you've got your title, and you can run this.
Wow.
And there you go. So now what we can do is we can take this and programmatically create pages from it. So let's see. Do you have like another 10 minutes? Because we just hit 4 o'clock.
Yeah, it's
okay. All right, great. So let's do this, and we'll call this our last our last thing. So in your source folder, we're going to create a template. So let's create a folder called templates.
Okay.
And we're going to create a file in that called post.js.
Okay.
And this is going to be a pretty simple setup, but we're going to import React. And so this is just a React component that's gonna take and kind of show our posts. So let's export, or we're gonna create a constant for our post, and that's gonna be our component. And so that's gonna be we can make it statelessly functional. And we'll have it return, let's have it return just a div. And inside that div, let's do an h1 for the blog post title. And we'll have to figure out how to get that in a second. And then below it, we need to have another div that's going to hold the markup. And so that's going to be inside of our first div next to the h2.
Oh, and an h2?
Sorry, next to your header.
Oh.
Yeah, so like inside the first div.
Div section. Gotcha.
Okay. So then we need to write a query so that we can get that blog. So the way that we're going to do that is, so the way that we requested it by file name, we are going to do that using GraphQL variables now.
Okay.
So go ahead and grab that query that we wrote out of Graphical. And we're going to export const query.
Oh, query? Or where are we exporting it?
So go, one more line. Do export.
Oh, like how we did before?
Yeah, like we did before. And then we need to do the GraphQL. And yep, that's the one that we want to auto import from Gatsby. So yep. And then do your backticks. And inside the backticks, we can paste that query. Okay. So then what we need to do is on line 12, at the very beginning, so outside of the curly brace, write the word query. And then open some parentheses. And then do a $.
After the
inside the parentheses.
Oh, inside the parentheses.
And do post or file name.
Post 1 MD, that one?
Or you actually just like, we're going to set a variable for it. So you can do, yeah.
So I can do, file.
And then replace that post1.md, including the quotes. We're going to replace that with file name. And it needs to also have the $.
Oh.
And then
Is this how you create a variable? Is that how?
Yes.
I've never really seen that before.
And so the last thing that we have to do is, I forgot to do this before, up on line 12, at the end of file name, but inside the parentheses, do a colon, and then write string with a capital S. And what this is GraphQL is strongly typed, which means that we have to tell everything about GraphQL what kind of data it's going to get back. So whether it's a number or it has an int type for integers, it has a string type, it has objects, which is what we've been looking at so far. Like when you click on file, that's the type that it's returning. And so that's why we get these great docs, is that all of these docs have been defined in advance by typing the GraphQL stuff.
I see.
So we can actually try this out. If you take that query that you just wrote, so copy it out of the file and back into Graphical. And then down at the very bottom, do you see where it says query variables?
Oh,
So in here, open up some curly braces
okay.
and do double quotes and then file name. It'll autocomplete for you. And then inside that, do more double quotes and do post1.md and run it. And nothing changes, right? So it continues to work. We basically are just saying you're going to get that file name from somewhere else now. So then we're going to, up in the post on line 4, we can destructure for data again.
Okay. Oh, sorry. I was like I was like over here. Okay.
Okay. And so it's going to be the same kind of setup here. So we're going to be able to get at the data the same way that we did in the index file to get at the site metadata. We just have to drill down into this object.
Okay. So data dot. Would it just be like? Could we just use? Do we have to actually like go down each of these?
We do,
Fine.
yeah. And it's
Okay, so
it's got to be inside the curly braces there.
Oh, right. Okay. File, and then do I have to do child markdown? Okay, mark HTML.
Actually, this one you're going to get into the front matter.
Oh, front matter. Okay, right. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. This is not capital, and then last but not least.
Right. And then the HTML is a little bit of a special case because React doesn't like plain HTML. So we have to kind of break the React rules. And we're going to do something called dangerously set inner HTML.
Oh.
So in this...
That sounds pretty intense.
I know, right? So in the line 7 div, you can add a prop to that div called dangerously. It's going to be like an attribute on the div.
Oh. So like prop?
Yeah, but it's actually just going to be like dangerously set.
Oh.
Yep, and there's your autocomplete. And then equals. And in this case, you're going to do double curly braces because we're going to pass it an object. And underscore HTML. Colon. And now we're going to use the data to get to the HTML.
Oh. This data? This one?
Yep, but you don't need to put it in curly braces there. Yep, just like that.
Oh, sorry, I deleted that. Okay, data, and then we have to do the same thing as up here.
Yep, you can actually just copy paste all the way through the child markdown remark. And then you're going to get the HTML. And because it's there's no content, you can make that div self-closing. Yep.
All right.
Okay, so now you've got a template. And the template, you just need to export default post, and then you'll be done. Okay, so now that we've got this template, we can use it to dynamically load content. And so to do that, what we're going to do is go into our Gatsby Node.js.
Oh, okay.
And we're going to do, so now we get to write a little bit of Node code, which is everybody's favorite, right? Do exports dot create pages, capital P. Yep.
Okay.
Equals. And then this is going to be a shorthand function, so just parentheses. and we're going to destructure inside here to get 2 props. We're going to get GraphQL, and then actions is the other one.
Do I have to do like
a comma? Yeah. Or no, in the same.
Oh, I can do it. Oh, that's weird. Okay, so what was the second one? Sorry.
Actions.
Actions. Okay.
And then to the right of that, we're going to do our fat arrow for the fat arrow function.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then curly braces. All right, so now inside, we're going to do, or let's make this an async function. Have you done async await before?
It's been a really long time.
Okay, so don't worry. It's actually easier than the other way, which is to do like promise chaining. So on line 8, before your opening parentheses, so to the left of your parentheses, add the word async and a space. And then inside on line 9, let's do const result equals await. And then we're going to do GraphQL, space GraphQL, and put parentheses and backticks. And inside of this, we need to write a query. So let's go over to Graphical to write our query. And we're going to do just all files. And what we need... Sorry, go ahead.
Do I like get rid of all this stuff?
Mm-hmm. So just some curly braces. The all files needs to be inside the curly braces. And then more curly braces. But inside the first.
Oh my gosh, so many curly braces. Okay.
Yeah, that's why typically it helps to kind of break them onto different lines so you can keep track of where they are. And then in here, we're going to do edges. And then curly brace, node. And we want the relative path, or curly brace after this. Yeah, we want the relative path. And I think that's going to be it. So what we'll do from here is let's run it to make sure that we get what we want. And then does it have like a name or anything? Let's see. What file, click on node, like control click on it.
Oops.
Or command click on it, sorry. There. And then go into file. And does it give us, let's see, extension, does it give us a name?
Can I do like a search or something?
Oh, there it is. Yeah, there's a name. So let's see what name gives us, because it would be really cool if it does what I'm hoping it does. Or keep the relative path, though, because we are going to need that.
Okay, and then just like on the next line?
Yeah. And then run that. Excellent. That's what I want. I want the name because it gives us the name of the file. We can use that to create our slugs for the website.
This is really
So hit the prettify button. And then copy paste that out. And let's put that inside those backticks. Okay. So what that's given us is now we're going to have an object in result that's going to have our pages and our all that good stuff, and that's going to be stored in like result.data, just like it is on the other places that we run those queries.
I see. Okay, cool.
So what we can do then is we can say underneath, so after line 20, go ahead and add a new line. And we're going to do result.data.allFile.edges. And we're going to loop over this, so .for each. Yeah. And then in the parentheses, we can call it a page, or it's going to be a node. So let's destructure to node. And because it's inside of another call, we have to wrap that in an extra set of parentheses.
Oh, okay. Oh, parentheses.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.
I put curly braces. So like another set of parentheses within the parentheses?
Yes.
And then curly braces inside of...
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
wow.
And then in between the second to the last and the last parentheses, we're going to do a fat arrow function. Yes. And some curly braces. And let's do actions.createPage. Singular, yeah. And then parentheses. So this is where we actually create the page. And so this is going to have 3 things that we're going to pass through to it. So the first one is, put in an object.
Okay.
And the first key in the object is, you're probably going to want to do line breaks because these get a little long.
Okay.
So the first one is path. And the path is going to be the node.name. And then on the next one is going to be component. And these do need commas.
Okay.
And this one we're going to do require.resolve, which is a way of getting the absolute path. Then do parentheses.
After result?
Mm-hmm. And a string inside the parentheses.
Oh. Okay, let me just put this back up here.
And do dot source. And we need to get that template file is what we're aiming for. Oh, sorry, like dot slash source. That's my bad.
Dot slash source and then templates, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then post. Do I have to go as far as the post.js?
Yes, post.js, and then comma at the end of that line, and then we're going to add context. So context is how we actually set that GraphQL variable. So if we go back into post.js, you remember we set the variable, but it like never gets set anywhere. Mm-hmm. So the way that this gets set is that we provide it as context. So thinking about this, we may want to rename that from file name to relative path because that's actually what we're giving it.
Oh, okay. Over here?
Mm-hmm. And then you'll need to change it on 13 as well. Okay. And then in here, we're going to add an object. And that object is going to get one argument, which is the relative path. And the value of that is going to be node.relativePath. Okay, so we just wrote a ton of code, but what it should do is generate a post automatically for us. So let's save it, and let's rerun Gatsby Develop.
Okay, let's see. Did we have to like link it somewhere in our index.js, like this, our post? Do we have to like put? Oh, what the heck?
What do we do?
Export.
Oh, exports.
Oh, exports.
Yep, that is, I didn't see it either.
Okay.
All right, let's try it again.
Okay.
So far, so good. Nothing exploded.
Yeah, it's always a good thing.
All right, so let's go to localhost 8000 / post 1. Boom.
Oh, that is so cool.
And so what's really nice here is if you add another post, so like go ahead and just add post 2 or something, and you can copy paste the content in just to make it easy. Or
There we go. I don't know how to say bye in Spanish.
Adios.
Adios. There we go. I was gonna say ciao, but that's like something else.
That's Italian. Okay. So I'm not sure if it's going to pick it up without starting and stopping the server, but try going to /post2.
Yay,
There it
we
is.
go.
So now that you've built that, it's going to work every time, right? No changes, no additional stuff. And then if you want to style this, you can. So let's actually do that. Let's go into post.js and let's import our layout. And that's going to come from, I think, up a line, you got to go up a couple folders, or up one folder, I think.
Is that dot slash?
Dot slash.
Dot slash. Dot slash, let's see.
Components?
No, components, yeah.
And layout. And then trade out those divs on 6 and 9 for the layout component. And there you go.
Oh my, yes, there we go. This is the most beautiful thing ever.
and when you check post 1, that one's updated too. So basically everything that you've done is reusable now.
Post. Oh, that is so rad. And my Twitter is lit as ever. It's great. Oh my gosh. So that's so rad. So if I wanted to custom style things for particularly the post page, could I do a CSS folder within the templates and then kind of do like something that only post.js is like affected by, and will that take specificity like over the other one?
100%. Yeah, you absolutely can. What may make more sense in that particular case would be to define components that would have styles. So like my personal preference is to keep components where the styles live, and so that way, your pages and your templates don't have styles stuck in them. They just import components that have styles attached.
Oh, that's smart.
And that's not a hard and fast rule. Like you can do whatever you want, but in terms of like organization and keeping it maintainable, it tends to help if everything's in the same place.
Oh, that's awesome. So like, say, I'm sorry for taking up like.
No worries.
I had one more question. So say you wanted to navigate to these pages on your home page, and you would want like a link to pop up every time another post is added, like go to post 1, go to post 2, and it will like create a link automatically. Is that like you would just play with that in like or put that in like your index.js or something? Or
yeah, let's do it now. So go ahead and get that all file query out of your Gatsby node.
Gatsby node, okay. This one?
But just the query, not the GraphQL part.
Oh, just like this.
Yep.
Okay.
And then in your index.js, you can put this right next to the site query.
Oh. Within the like another line, or?
Well, so inside the same set of backticks.
Like that?
And then delete lines 25, 26, and 27.
Oh.
Yeah. And so now you get one data object, and it's going to have data.site and also data.allFile. So let's go and maybe let's replace line 11 with a list of your posts. So let's do, you can just delete that whole line, and let's do an unordered list.
Okay.
And then open up some curly braces, and we'll get to the edges of that all file.
Okay. So we could go to query, or we could go to...
You've already got it in data there.
Oh, okay. So, oh yeah, up there. Okay, so data dot all file dot edges.
Mm-hmm. And then you're going to want to do a map. So dot map.
Mm-hmm.
And inside you're going to get node. And then do a fat arrow function.
Mm-hmm.
Inside that parentheses though.
Oh, but next to node.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. There we go. It's a mess. Okay.
Okay. And then you can do another set of parentheses. And let's break lines and do a list, an li. And set the key on the li to avoid a React error. Because we're dynamically generating React nodes now. So we want to set a key prop. And we can make the key into the equals, like the node.relative path or node.name. Kind of doesn't matter.
Oh, do I have to put it in parentheses or something?
In curly braces, yeah.
Curly braces. No.
Name is fine. And then let's do a link. So a Gatsby link, the component, to, and in here, you actually just want to do node name again. Yep, but no quotes on that.
Okay.
And then on the outside, you can do, oh, you know what we didn't do is we didn't get the markdown data to get the front matter for the title. So let's add that to our query down below. So on line 37, you can just add child markdown remark.
Under here?
Mm-hmm. And then curly braces and do front matter. All lowercase, yeah. And then curly braces and title.
Okay.
And now we can pull that out up in your in that link so that we can show the title of the blog post.
Oh, okay. So I have to do, oh my gosh, going like into the matrix.
In deep.
Okay, so we want to do the data.
Mm-hmm.
All file dot file dot edges dot node.
It's actually just going to be the node. So that's my fault. So because we've already got we've already did data all file edges. So now it's just going to be the node.
Node dot relative child markdown.
Mm-hmm.
Child markdown remark dot front matter. That should be
Mm-hmm.
correct.
Okay. Looks like something broke, so let's check the console and see what went wrong.
Let's see where you index.
Give that a refresh and let's just see what happened. Okay, what don't you like?
Oh no! I thought I forgot the back tip, but it's still there.
Okay, so what's the first error? It's not filtering any of your stuff, is it? Oh, cannot read property front matter of undefined. Okay, so we missed something.
You want me to go back to the GraphQL graphical?
Yeah, go ahead and just copy paste that query in and let's make sure that it works.
Into which one?
So the one from index. Let's take that one out and put it into graphical and make sure that it works. You can just do the whole thing actually. I like to do the full test to make sure that whatever I put in is actually functioning the way I expect it to. So yeah, go ahead and run that. That gives us everything that we need. Maybe we just need to stop and start it because the query didn't run with.
That's true. Let's try that. Wow, my plant store is coming along. Has a blogging capabilities to talk about.
Okay, so we should be able to reload now. And it still doesn't like it, so what doesn't it like? Let's take a look at the code again, because it looks like we're missing something. So node, child markdown remark. Oh, I know what it is. So we need to destructure into that node. So on line 12, wrap it in parentheses and then curly braces. Curly braces inside the parentheses.
Yeah. Is this how you do it in like or okay, sorry. Okay. So okay, there we go.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, try that.
There we go.
Boom.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. Blog listings.
Oh my goodness. I love it. It's so fast. Wow, this is great. Now I can like play around with this and do fun things. That's great. Thank you.
Yeah, you bet. So that, I think that's probably a good stopping point there.
I can check Netlify real quick and see if it finished.
Oh yeah. So it did. So go ahead and preview. So that worked. And so now let's actually just deploy this again. So go ahead and commit your changes.
Okay. Oops.
And then if you head back to Netlify, we will see, go back to the deploys tab there. So that one there. And you can see it's automatically building your changes.
What?
So click into that.
Oh my gosh, that's fantastic. And it has my commit message too.
So it lets you know kind of what happened.
Oh, so every time you update your GitHub, then it just automatically redeploys.
Exactly.
Oh, no, that's great. Wow, that's fancy. I love it. So easy with like using both of these tools.
Yeah, it's really, really nice.
Nice pair. Oh, wow, that's so fast.
Okay, so that should be done here in just another couple of seconds. And once that's finished, you can go to, let's see, probably another like, here we go. And the site is live. So if you go to your site there, I think it's the tab to the right of that one,
Yes.
and just reload it.
Oh, there we go.
There you go.
I'm live. This is so fun. Oh my gosh, this is so great.
So that's Gatsby and Netlify in kind of a small little package, but yeah, did you have fun with that?
Yeah, for sure. That was like, it's so cool how it's laid out. So you can just, I don't know, it's like you don't have to focus on like the ugly parts, and you can just kind of do the fun parts.
Yeah. Yeah, that's our goal. So that's kind of the ultimate aim of Gatsby, is to get rid of all the stuff that's hard so that you can just start doing the fun stuff. You can just go in and like build things and see your website come together. So cool. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you so much. Let me stop sharing. Okay.
Cool. Well, it was great. It was great doing this. I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream, but thanks so much, and thanks for watching, everybody.